welcome back to church 2 here on this Sunday morning. I don't know if you guys heard the pre-show, but someone in my chat had the grand idea that instead of saying he is risen, we could respond, Pog, he is risen. How do you feel about this? Are we
sacrilegious?
Is that sacrilegious?
I think that's rather sacrilegious. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No more. How do we feel?
But I mean, that doesn't mean it's bad. I'm just, that's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Okay. Zeke, how do you feel about the Pog, he is risen? Should we, as one of the priests? No, I don't know. Archbishops? I don't know.
Disciples, I guess.
Okay.
Prophet of Takarilla.
Yeah.
The one true Lord of all. He
Cardinal, maybe.
There's only 2 commandments
Deacon
in the Takarilla religion.
Yeah.
Don't be a bummer is first, and the second one is shut the fuck up and eat a taco. So it's not specifically against the 2 commandments, but I'm sure he would frown upon me, splitting my time with another,
all right.
religion.
totally understandable.
Well, joining us from the other archdiocese today is Zeke over from the Church of Takarilla. Welcome.
Yeah, it could be a joke, like a Takarilla, a Pog, and a priest walk into a bar.
A Pog and a priest? Nice. I like it.
Yeah, remember those old jokes?
Yeah.
A priest, rabbi, and minister.
Yeah. Pretty good. Anyways,
Someone tell JP his overlays are from his MCU podcast.
Barry, they're from the MCU podcast. Figure that out for me.
That works.
I mean, I don't touch anything regarding that. But
do you ever fear that you have put too much responsibility and or power in the hands of other people for your stream?
Every day.
I don't have that fear. I think
here's the thing.
I get a little bit of spanking every once in a while. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You absolutely should, JP.
Here's how much I don't care. The other day, we were trying to get drops enabled because the Techland site was like kind of funky, and drops were, I don't even know if they're working. I don't even know if you can claim Dying Light drops still to this day. I never got them in my playthrough.
Pretty bad.
Anyways, I was trying to get it like connected to the site. And this was also the night that I think the game was launching. So they were under some pressure, right? Like the site was probably getting a lot of traffic. And because I couldn't do it and because I wanted to play the game instead of sitting there like trying to log in, I gave Barry my Twitch login with my auth code from my auth app, as well as my Techland password, as well as some other email login. And then he's like, all right, you're all good. So that's how little I truly care when it comes to that stuff. Luckily, he's a smart man. Oh, yeah, it was the Steam password. It was Steam password. Luckily, he did that all incognito. He tells me, and we're all good. But in return, luckily, Twitch also sent me his IP, at least one of them. So who knows if that was a VPN, but.
Oh, it totally was, 100%.
Yeah. We'll see if I have any packages or anything like that showing up anytime soon from a London account. But who could say?
No, it was one of the drops as far as that goes. Like that was one of those things that I was like, I don't know how this works. I have no idea. I've never done drops before.
Yeah.
Like I just like connect my account and do I do this, do that? And it ended up being just like they activate it for you, I guess.
Right. You have to like make sure your accounts are all connected, but they just turned it on.
Yeah.
Thursday
As soon as I connected my Twitch account to the Techline account, I was like, is that it? And eventually, like once they activated it, was like, oh yeah, it's showing up now. I'm like, okay, I guess that's all I had to do. Because I was sweating it. I was telling everybody, like, this drops. Hey, I got dropped. And the really funny thing is, it was for like 3 in-game items that, cool. I mean, they're pretty cool, but like,
yeah,
it's not like a drops. Like I thought drops were more.
They're whatever
like,
you want them to be, really.
Like drops were you get a chance at like a really rare something or other.
Some games do that.
It's not,
but not Dying Light.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It was like 3 fixed items after a certain amount of time. Some are like streamer garb in certain games. They'll do that activation, and I guess like Tarkov gives you random items within that game, but they're all, I don't know if they're very lucrative in terms of like in-game currency.
Okay.
But yeah, it's whatever the developer wants it to be.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm speaking from a place of ignorance. So
yeah.
Go ahead, JB.
Well, there was Cole, you probably heard about this. Was it drops or was it channel point redemption for the founder packs the other day at Lost Ark on that Twitch stream?
I didn't hear about this. I heard there was some weirdness, but like it wasn't working as intended, so I'm not really sure what was supposed to happen.
I think they just shut it down because people got very upset.
Yeah, maybe.
What happened.
Maybe.
Or they canceled it. Yeah, it was you could redeem channel points on this like official Twitch stream and get Lost Ark bundles, I think is what it was, on the Crown channel. Which is also funny because that's straight up against the rules for channel points. Like as streamers, we can't do anything tied to any monetary value.
To money.
Yeah, there's no monetary value involved in channel points. Oh, they straight out put up a "we made a mistake" tweet. I'll just read this. It says, "We made a mistake. It turns out we can't use channel points to offer founder packs. The good news is we'll still be giving away founder packs throughout our Arc Week shows. We'll get back to you as soon as we figure out how we're going to do that. For those of you who are already subbed, gifted subs, or cheered, we are working on a make good plan." Oh, Jesus. "We're very sorry for the mistake and confusion caused. Stay tuned for updates." So I guess they can't give refunds on that, right? Because they are Twitch, but I don't think they're Twitch in that way.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
That's a nightmare. That's
a pretty bad situation.
Yeah, not a good situation at all. So, anyways, channel points, drops. That's all we got. Those are the news on that.
Because I've never done drops before. I was speaking from a place of total ignorance. I thought most drops, like you watched for a chance, like you watched a channel long enough, and then your name was entered in like, I don't know, like a raffle or something, and then you got something out of it. Like I had no idea it was just like, because drops to me sound like a lottery. Like you get a drop, like it's like back in the WoW days. Like, did it drop for you? Meaning, did you get the chance that it happened? Like the mount dropped or whatever.
Yeah,
there's like all random. Yeah,
there's that form, and then there's also the form of like watch for X amount of hours, which I think a lot of developers are using these days because it obviously puts whatever game viewership on Twitch, the viewership spikes, and then that's basically kind of free advertising. I say free advertising. They probably pay for drops on Twitch. That's not a free system.
Speaking of that, did anyone in chat redeem those items, and are they good items? Because I did not see it. I did not go watch another channel to get the drop.
I think they're skins.
So. Are they skins? Okay, I was never even able to get them in game, so I know.
No, they're not skins. They're actually in-game items, right? They're like.
Oh, are they? Weapons. Are they actually in-game items? I haven't claimed them either, so I'm not.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, there's I think an axe, a machete, and a mask. I think.
Okay.
They're good early games. Okay.
Gotcha.
It's like the one you get the sword you get immediately for
having an account.
Oh, yeah, for just having an account, you get that curved blade or whatever. It's good early on, but then it's like, later you don't even use it. So yeah, I figured. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for the info.
There you go. We'll talk Dying Light probably in the second half of the show. We got some news to get through here at the start. We'll start off. Rockstar's out there confirming that GTA 6 exists. Put out a tweet, said, "Many of you have been asking about a new entry in the Grand Theft Auto series. With every new project, our goal is always to significantly move beyond what we've previously delivered. We're pleased to confirm that active development for our next entry in the series is underway." What did they clarify? Did you guys see why now? Was this like an earnings call thing or like an end of the quarter deal? Or is it just they wanted people to stop fucking saying they're just making money off of why? I don't know where this came from. It seemingly came out of nowhere on the 4th.
I think they finally got their in-game NFT systems working properly. So they wanted to get GTA 6 out at that point.
Maybe so. I could see that.
I heard GTA Coin is coming out soon, so it could be related.
Doesn't that already exist?
Does it really?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was working to see how believable I am to you still. What I could pull over on you. That was a test, and I think you failed and I won. Ultimately, is what just happened.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know what GTA 6. What do I want from that? What do people in the video game world want from that? I don't know. Like GTA 5 was kind of I didn't know what I wanted from that, I guess, as well. Is it just a better looking game, a better looking GTA? Do they go in and try to like make a better AI simulated city? Do they try
New
and
story,
like
new characters?
Yeah, is it just
Wilder
a story?
scenes?
Is
More
it just
nudity,
a new story?
hopefully.
What was that?
Hopefully more nudity.
More
Always
nudity?
like the nudity.
Do they
Mhm.
crank up how crazy that game is when it's already like
Yes.
pretty crazy?
I want blazing coffee.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where GTA goes. Unless they're trying to reinvent.
You got to keep up with Cyberpunk. Customizable genitalia. That'll probably be a big thing.
True. I would think I don't know. Maybe Rockstar wouldn't just like meme on that stuff. They usually kind of have like a this is funny approach to all of that, but I don't know. What were we gonna say, Zeke?
So don't GTA games usually like they model themselves after an existing city like LA and like Las Vegas and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
I'm wondering like what city would be like new enough like that would you know blow people away, like some place that's not bright and sunny like all the time, because a lot of their games seem to take place in like California or the desert, like Nevada, like that kind of stuff. I'm wondering if they could do like a northern town like Chicago or something like that, right?
Yeah. What wasn't like GTA based in London originally? Like GTA 2, didn't that take place on the streets of London? Maybe. I want to say. I never played. I only started like GTA 3, I guess, when everyone else did. Chat saying yes. So, and it was bad, apparently. It'd be cool if they also just did like multiple cities instead of like one giant city or multiple giant cities. Maybe that's too massive of an undertaking. I think when you get into the idea of like 4K gaming, making an entire city with that amount of texture is probably a pretty giant task, let alone a giant download. We're talking a couple hundred gigs at that point, if they go multiple cities. But who knows?
I guess they did Liberty City, which was New York, yeah. But I never played that. That was a mobile, and I was not a mobile. I've never been big on mobile.
Where was GTA 4? Wasn't that New York? Yeah.
GTA 4 was New York.
Yeah. Well, New York.
Oh, okay. I thought Liberty City was on like Vita or whatever.
No, that was probably like Liberty City Stories or some shit.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you're probably right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
mean, see, this is the thing. I'm with GTA. It's the same thing with me and like Star Wars. It's like I'm a fan, but I'm not like I don't ask me specific questions about the fucking game because I'm not gonna remember it.
Yeah. I don't really know anyone that's like a diehard GTA fan though. Like those games just come out and they push the idea of what an open world game is, and they look really pretty. But I don't know anyone that's like, on the same fandom of say God of War or something like that.
Dude, I got it. GTA, motherfucking Mars Colony.
There you go.
I'm there for that.
Yeah. Go sci-fi with
I'm there for that. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Make it about
Show
terraforming Mars.
How it's done. How we do it in the future.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
Could be good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. They didn't announce anything apart from that. They said we look forward to sharing more as soon as we are ready. So please stay tuned to Rockstar Newswire for official details. On behalf of our entire team, we thank you for all your support and cannot wait to step into the future with you. We'll see. They might get bought before then. So maybe that's where we learn more information now that
Take-Two?
Yeah. Their names.
Didn't they just buy Zynga?
Yeah. But their name's still on the list of potentials for people to buy. That's got to be an astronomical
with the
price.
acquisition of Zynga, and then you add that cost onto what they would be worth with the GTA franchise, dude.
Yeah.
That'd be like a multi-$100 billion deal.
Yeah. I wonder what their like estimation,
or at least over 100 billion, I'd say. Yeah.
I wonder what they're actually worth. I don't know if that's actually been. Oh, here's net worth.
I mean, think of it this way: they had the capital to buy. What was Zynga? 40 billion?
No, it was 6 or something.
6
like
billion?
That. Yeah.
Oh, what I think it was 4. What was? Oh, that was the Activision.
That was the Activision. Sorry, it's 12.7. 12.7. I was wrong.
Still a lot.
It's
How much
still
was Activision again?
68.
68. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe they're not that much.
I mean, I think it would be like 30,
you know
40.
what? You know what though? With that in mind, you very much could be right. I mean, if Activision is getting bought for that much money, then I mean, Take-Two, even whatever their worth is plus 12 billion. I mean, that would put it in the realm of possibility for sure. So.
Yeah, I don't know what their most recent market estimation is. This website, granted, what's a website and how do you trust it anymore? Says that it's currently worth 20 billion as of February 4th. So, yeah,
it's real life Magario, man.
Yeah. It came out of nowhere. I don't know why they decided to state that, but it could have been quarter stuff since it was end of quarter and there's a bunch of financial earnings calls and all that stuff. We'll never know. Or maybe we will if they get bought in the next. Tuesday seems like buying days. So maybe this Tuesday they announce that they're getting bought. We'll just have to see. Speaking of getting bought, Sony purchased Bungie earlier this week on, I believe that was Monday, for $3.6 billion. Not necessarily a giant, grandiose purchase like Activision Blizzard, but hey, Bungie makes one game right now, and that's Destiny. So they're doing pretty good to get purchased for $3.6 billion. Not too shabby. They also, Bungie has a pretty storied history in terms of acquisitions and then leaving and buying themselves back and yada, yada, yada. Most of the purchase I have seen in terms of Bungie's side was that they can leverage Sony's entertainment world, and bring that into Destiny. So we're going to get movies and TVs and stuff, TV shows and things of that nature. And Bungie, I think, is going to help Sony when it comes to games as a service, as they came out and said that they want to have 10 GAAS by like 2030 or 2035 or some shit.
One sec, my children are chaosing.
Okay. I don't know if we need 10 more games as a service. That just seems kind of crazy, especially from one company. Call me crazy. Is that too many, Zeke? I don't even play one games as a service, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think I do either, but can you, like, what's a game as a service? What counts as that?
Destiny.
Can you give me an example? It's Destiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I guess I play Final Fantasy.
Keeps
so
expanding, Final Fantasy 14, right?
Yeah, I guess Final Fantasy would be a games as a service. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't play any currently. I have played in the past, but
yeah.
PoE?
I don't know if PoE would, because you're not paying every league, but it is a game that
it is a game as a service. It's free to play.
Yeah, I guess that's true. There are free to play.
It doesn't change the structure of the game, I'd say.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, like I'm trying to find out, like, what does Bungie own besides Destiny? Do they own anything else?
I don't think they have very much IP under their portfolio.
I mean, they have old stuff. They have Marathon, Oni, Myth.
Oh,
Pathways
shit,
into Darkness.
TFT counts as that.
What? TFT?
What? TFT counts as games as a service.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry,
I do play one.
I thought you were saying they own TFT. I was like,
I'm a giant liar. No, someone was correcting me, and I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Just jumped in there because there was a shiny object in front of my face.
Yeah, Chad is pointing out correctly. They do have multiple games in development at Bungie that aren't Destiny related, so they're definitely working on other stuff. which I will assume most likely will be some sort of PlayStation exclusive moving forward now that they have been acquired by Sony. So, yeah, that was the big acquisition this past week. We'll see what the next one is, as tons of industry insiders have all said this is the first of many to come this year. So that's why everyone thinks Take-Two is going to get purchased. Square Enix is going to get purchased. Ubisoft, if I don't know why you would want to buy them, but their name have also been entered into the arena.
We would have thought that no one would have wanted to touch Activision.
You're right.
So, I mean, I mean, if anything, with all the Ubisoft,
you're right,
ish that's going on, maybe this is making them even more lucrative to some people.
You could be good.
The whole sexual harassment shakeup at the top. They've got they're working their ass off to alienate all of their customers that still like them. I mean, it's they're setting themselves up for a purchase right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go tinfoil hat and conspiracy shit on this, who do you think is pushing out these stories and leaks and helping to make them more public and stuff? I bet if you follow that trail, you'd find someone at Microsoft or Sony behind some of this shit, trying to drive down the price so they can.
You might be right.
Probably right.
Yeah. So we'll see. Ubisoft, EA, obviously, is a candidate, I think, for all of that. They had a bunch of earnings call this past week. Funny enough, in EA's earning call, none of it was really super newsworthy. But they straight up didn't mention Battlefield 2042. They mentioned Battlefield 5. Didn't even mention Battlefield 2042. So kind of funny. Kind of maybe sad as well. A little bit.
I was going to say it's sad for us 2142 fans. It's just sad. It's just it's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate.
Yeah. Team 17 announced the MetaWorms project for NFTs, and then also announced that they're ending the MetaWorms NFT project about 24 or 48 hours later. So that's the NFT news for the week. I don't even know why why are companies thinking that they can announce why did Team 17 all right, guys, this is going to be the one. They're not going to hate us. Let's go ahead and pull the trigger. Announced, immediately get hit with cans of tomatoes. They didn't even take the tomatoes out. They just threw the cans at the company. And then 48 hours later, we're going to go ahead and cancel that. We're not going to do the whole NFT thing. I wonder if that will be the last, or if we're just going to see more companies try to push that under the rug and try to get NFTs out there. The news is weird whenever that stuff's announced. It's a strange time.
I just pictured a door marked NFT, and it's a lot of people they saw they saw Konami go through it. Hey, I know Konami. Let's all go through it, and behind the door there's just a trap door. That's it. That's all there is behind the door. It's hey, they went through it. Let's go. Whoa!
Yeah, it's really weird. I guess good on the gaming community though for the only reason they pulled back on them, they didn't announce it. A lot of these other companies were pulling back on that stuff. Is because people are getting so loud on social media, and whenever those announcements happens, it's so much pushback that they're like, all right, we're done. We're gonna stop this. So that's a good thing. I guess that we've kind of rallied. Someone brought up the idea. I don't know if it was my chat or on Twitter where I saw this, but it's one of the most unifying things to happen to the gaming industry as a fan base, as people that play games in a very long time. This idea that NFTs are crap, that it's the unifying factor like never before. And I kind of agree with that sentiment. I don't know if there's been any other that large of a unification when it comes to everyone else in the industry. Seems like NFTs are reviled from most people that I talk to, that I see on Twitch and on social media. Loot boxes? No, I don't know if loot boxes are. I think maybe, but NFTs seem like the big one there. Motion blurs, yeah, it's not the same thing though.
Has this been a thing for a while? And this is completely off topic or on a new topic or whatever, but
okay.
It's been a thing for a while, and I just seeing it now that they're. I've heard rumblings of it, but they're adding downvotes to Twitter, and they're private. It
Are
says
they?
introducing
So I saw-
reply downvotes. Tap to downvote. Search see a reply that isn't adding to the conversation. Let us know by downvoting. Downvotes are private. Your votes aren't public and won't be shared with the tweet author or others on the timeline. Oh, so it's just your own downvote.
It's personal
I guess.
downvoting.
Okay.
I saw Rami say that he enabled downvotes on a tweet or something, but I didn't see him anywhere. So I don't know what was going on.
I haven't seen any of that. Huh? Yeah, that was like a day or two ago. So is it only for you, or do other people see the thread in the way that you're curating it? Because they tried that with like hiding tweets, but it was the stupidest idea, because when you hit a tweet, all it did was say, this tweet is hidden right below your response. Then you could just click view and see the tweet. So there's no reason to ever hide a tweet, because it just put a giant red flag on it. And it was pointless.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. So Washington Post, I'm reading about this Twitter thing now. It says we're continuing another perspective of the world we see, blah, blah, blah. Twitter's getting its own dislike button for replies or comments in response to original tweets. It was announced in July. It started rolling out globally Thursday night, the company said. Does not say anything else. We're looking for new ways to increase healthy participation and engagement on Twitter. Twitter spokeswoman Celeste Carswell said, still in the learning stage of this experiment and looking to gain a better understanding of how reply downvoting could help us better surface the most relevant content for people on Twitter in the future. Not everyone sees the downvote button yet, but it appears to be available on a growing portion of US accounts. To downvote a tweet, tap the downward facing arrow below it. Twitter says you'll see fewer similar tweets in the future, though it's hard to know what that means or how the company will determine what makes two tweets similar. The tweet's author won't see that you downvoted, and you won't know about any downvotes on your own tweets either. Okay.
So is that
It
just
seems like
the
an
other
algorithm
option
thing.
if you don't want to block or mute them?
I guess. I don't. It sounds like it just feeds into their algorithm, and that's it. And like a user will never see the results of that, apart from that person's tweet and similar tweets, whatever the fuck that means, not showing up on your feed. More echo chambers.
Cool.
That's ultimately what
that's
means.
what we need.
Sorry to derail. Like, I don't know if that was a derailment, but
No. I had not heard of this.
Yeah.
Not necessarily gaming news, but yeah.
Well, getting back to like gaming news, did you guys see the itch.io tweet?
Yeah, they straight up said like, fuck NFTs, we're done with this shit, right?
I love that. I mean, that was great. Like, I didn't expect anything different from them, but man, they got a lot of traction, got a lot of eyes on it.
Yeah. They're one of the only platforms, I guess. Like, has Steam said anything about NFTs?
Didn't they make it so like you couldn't do NFTs in your games or something? And that was
Yes.
a big deal. Yeah.
Valve banned blockchain games and NFTs on Steam.
They were one of the first, if I'm not mistaken.
They were. This was
they
back in
they
October.
weren't prompted. They weren't prompted or anything. They were just like, we don't want to deal with this, and we don't want our players to deal with this.
Yep.
We're not doing it.
It was back in October of 2021.
Yep.
So they were pretty early on. Was that it was Itch is who said that, right? Zeke?
Itch.io. Now do you guys say itch.io, itch.io? Like, is there a proper way to say it?
I think I say itch.io.
I just say itch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A few have
I'm
asked
gonna be
about our
honest.
stance on NFTs. NFTs are a scam if you think they're legitimately useful for anything other than the exploitation of creators, financial scams, and the destruction of the planet. And we ask that you please reevaluate your life choices. Peace. Also, they replied to their own tweet. Also, fuck any company, and they put fuck in like that weird like scribbly
ASCII thing,
whatever. Yeah. Also, fuck any company that says they support creators and also endorses NFTs in any way. They only care about their own profit and the opportunity for wealth above anyone else, especially given that now easily available discourse concerning the problems of NFTs. The now easily available. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they responded to that. How can you be so dense? So they tripled down on the process of NFTs. And social media rewarded them with 151,000 likes on that tweet, which is a pretty big amount. That went super viral.
It is really cool to hate NFTs right now.
Yes.
And I think for good reason. But I mean, it is by far one of the biggest. Like, if a company wants a PR boost, just say something like that.
Yeah.
It's a good time to do it. Like, people are picking their teams right now.
Get your stance
you got
out now.
You got the Ubisofts and you got the itches. So take your team, and
The shirts are being passed out. Are you team
Exactly.
movie or team edge? That's accurate. Yeah. And that's I think the gist of the news for the week. Not too much in terms of everything else. So
Now, quick question, just before we move on.
Okay.
Are we as a people, excuse me, we as a community are against NFTs, but are we as a community against crypto?
it's different. It's very, very different. NFTs utilize crypto, but crypto and NFTs are not the same thing. They use in some ways.
I know they're not the same
they're
thing, but I'm just
affiliated
wondering,
with the same types of technology, but they are very much not the same thing.
Yeah.
You can very much be against both, and many people that are against one are against the other. But they're not the same thing. No, they're not. They're not the same.
Yeah. Also, I don't think you have to.
They can also be scams though, like NFTs. Like there's
100%.
There's a lot of overlap, but they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know how I'm going to get my drugs now.
It's a great point.
True. You always got to be worried about how you're going to get your drugs, Zeke. That's very important.
That's all I deal with, right?
Yeah.
I imagine. I assume.
I think most people, at least and that have chatted just now, that are against NFTs, are also against crypto at large. I also think crypto in the past, I don't know, month has probably skyrocketed down in both price and also interest from people. People definitely lump in, like Co said, NFTs and crypto kind of hand in hand. And so I think that has further driven that down as well. But the floor is down on crypto. It's completely, everything is dropped for the most part in terms of actual value. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with all that. I guess it's slowly moving back up now, according to people in chat in terms of prices. But should we save Dying Light for the second half? I think we could do it now. I think 45 minutes is more than enough time to talk Dying Light.
Yeah.
Sure.
Especially because
we don't have any more news or anything.
Yeah. No, there's no more news. All right, let's talk about it. I guess let's start with this. Co, where are you at in the story?
What
was the last thing you unlocked mechanically? That's a better way to do it.
I've had the glider for a while.
Okay.
I don't have a grappling hook.
Okay.
I've not done the TV tower. I'm currently.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's that.
Gotcha.
I don't know how far I am from the end.
Do you want to know?
Sure.
About halfway.
That's it?
Yeah. Maybe a little more than halfway. Game is very
wow.
long. It's a very long
game. Awesome. Well, I'm loving it. So that's great. That's great to hear. That's great to hear.
Well,
wow.
If you mainline the main story, it's not super long, but like with all the side shit you can do, there's a lot of hours you can put into the game.
Yeah, a lot.
However,
I saw 93 side quests was the number, and 24 main quests was the number
93.
I saw floating around.
Woo.
And I don't know if all side quests are, if you can do those all in the same run, if some are like locked behind certain choices. I don't know how that necessarily works. I would believe that might be the case, but I can't say that 100%. So yeah, let me pull up some footage here. Zeke, you finished the game. In a weird scenario, both me and Zeke are done with the game. Probably the first week. Very strange for that to occur, I have to say.
Well, I didn't get super sidetracked doing other like side stuff, and there was a big reason for that. that we can talk about, I'm sure, that I didn't feel motivated to do a lot of the side content.
Right.
And I talked about this at the end of during the credits, which buckle up if you watch the credits. They're sizable. They're a good long amount of credits.
I plan to. We're good.
But during the credits rolling, I talked pretty extensively about I wanted more motivation for the main character in the game, and this is not spoiling anything, but because it's your main thing from the very beginning is to find your sister, and that's what you're trying to do. And along the way, you talk to people who are like, yeah, you go over there. It's like, well, how do I get over there? Like, well, I'll tell you how to get over there. But first, you got to do some stuff for me. I'm like, okay, it's an RPG. I get it. Okay, I'll do some stuff for you. But during that stuff you're doing for me, I'm going to make a bet with you. And that bet is I'm going to make you care about my backstory and the backstory of that person you just met and the backstory of that person you just met, because I'm going to tell you all about them. And they lost that bet. Like, I did not care because it had nothing to do with my character's motivation.
Sure.
Like, my motivation was the carrot was too far away from the stick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't, it was just, I couldn't see it. So I was like, I kept going for it. And all this other stuff was just holding me up from doing that thing. And I understand why, side stuff, you get into it and you care about it and stuff like that. But I do have a tendency to put myself in the shoes of the main character and yell at the NPCs in his stead, in the fashion if I was there, I'd be like, I don't care why you're having a problem with this person. It has nothing to do with me finding my sister. You don't have to give me your life story. I will get this, gem for you, or I will conquer this place for you. You don't have to tell me about it. I'll do it.
Sure.
This is this for that exchange. And I likened it to going to your, back in the day, going to your weed dealer. Be like, here's $50. Can I have some weed? And the guy's like, where are you going, man? You want to sit around here? And so I was like, no, I don't care about you. I care about the weed you're giving me. That's all I want from you. And that's the way it felt. It felt like, oh, I can help you with your sister, but you got to listen to my fucking story first, bro. And I'm like, okay, I suppose.
Yeah.
Zeke, I really wish you just would have been upfront with me back in the day and not just.
Oh God, this got awkward, guys.
I'm sorry you're hearing it like this, Go. Sorry you're hearing it like this.
I'm gonna take a quick break. No, I agree with that sentiment. It definitely, the game is, we're gonna throw you into the problems of this city.
Yeah.
With your main goal being kind of the thorough line through everything.
Yeah, the thing that I wanted, I guess, I thought about how, okay, Mr. Zeke, you think you're, how to write a better story and stuff. Well, maybe not. I couldn't write a better story, but the ideas, the idea for me would be interweave my motivation with the motivation, so they align, with the motivations of the town.
Yeah.
They were completely separate most of the time. Every once in a while you get a mission that gives you a little bit more information on your story or her story or whatever. Every once in a while I get that, but most often it's just this turmoil between these factions, and there's no reason for you to care about that.
Well, it's
I don't care if this entire city blows up if I get to my sister. I just met you fools.
Right. I want to say, before I jump in on the story, I think gameplay wise, and Zeke didn't touch on this, I think I had a great time playing the game, but the story itself, there are pretty big issues in terms of storytelling. I think a lot of that comes down to, for me, is that maybe 2 of the characters in the entire game are likable. Everyone else is just a piece of shit. They're just like bad people that do shitty things, and you have to side on the side of like who is the less shitty person here.
It's the age-old question of you want to go with the giant douche or the turd sandwich.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of that throughout the game. And when it comes to like the storytelling, like the second to second beats, sometimes it just like misses an entire beat, I felt. And I had to like a lot of my chat was like, wait, did you just somehow skip through story? It's like, no, I don't know. I'm just playing the game. I don't think that's a bug, but like the dialogue would just change, or a random character would quite literally walk out of thin air into the cutscene multiple times. And it's just a lot to deal with, right? Like it would kind of shock me when X giant character just walks in off screen while you're like, I don't want to give specifics, but you're in a place where that couldn't be a normal thing to occur. And it's just like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, how the hell did you get here so fast type deal? And that stuff happened a lot for me. But anytime I get out of those cutscenes and I'd actually like start playing the game, I was super into it. I had a fantastic time like playing the game. When it came to the storytelling and stuff, I was mostly along for the ride to like see how ridiculous it was going to get. And by the end, oh, it got ridiculous. Like, it got real ridiculous. Multiple times I would pause the game and just like laugh for a good 30 or 40 seconds at how absurd some of the shit I was seeing on screen was. But yeah, all that said, playing the game it's great. Like Zeke and Co, feel free to jump in on that. But I think like the second to second gameplay, I love looting. I love the idea that you go into these areas that are like filled with loot. A lot of it is, I wouldn't say like puzzle based, but you ping so much, you'd see something behind a door, then it immediately becomes like, how do I get behind that door? Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. I got to go in there. I gotta, and like, I also, at first, I think it's safe to say I hated the parkour at first, but then about 20 minutes or 30 minutes later, it's because I was bad at the parkour. And as I got better,
it gets a lot better as you improve your character.
Yes, it does.
Like,
You're
a
right.
lot better.
Yes. Maybe too slow as well. I think that might be a criticism of the game. I wish that stuff unlocked a little faster.
Speaking of that, they need to desperately work on their wording and language when it comes to like the upgrades you get. Because there was 2 upgrades that I got that were, I talked to chat about it like for a good long while. Like, okay, I'm trying to do this and this isn't working, but it said, look at the video. It says this is happening, and they need to work on those videos too that they show you like with the skill, because they're ambiguous as well.
Was it the jump, the like propel off of a?
Yeah, there was a jump off of an obstacle, forward and high jump.
Yeah,
like those are 2 of the things that you can do, both of which were worded in such a way to be confusing.
Sure.
And it just, I can't believe it. Like, it's a relatively simple thing that I think they used too many words to describe. And it just ended up being like, no, I'm doing that, Chad. No, I'm doing that. No, watch me. Look at it. I'm here. Look, watch. I'm pressing the button.
Did you ever figure out the double jump?
No. How do you do the double jump? Because also it felt really weird, because I think sometimes I would do it and I've just felt like my character was doing this and kind of flying, like he had a magic carpet below.
Now the double jump is the one that's
I never did that.
Is it the double space bar?
It's double space bar.
There's the launch, and that is when you do a little jump over an obstacle, then hit E, and you use your legs to kick off of it, and that's the launch. And then the next skill you get, which has a similar looking picture, says to press double jump twice, or press space bar twice, a different key. You then double jump, and I have not been able to get that working.
Is the double jump different than the high jump?
Yes.
Or are they the same thing?
Yes.
No, they're different.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one of the jumps is you go over the thing and you go forward. One of the things is you jump over a thing and you go high. Yeah. Right.
Double jump is supposed to be an additional like mid-air furtherment of your body forward type or upwards situation.
Yeah, I thought I figured that out, but I didn't. I figured out the high jump.
The high jump, yeah, you kind of just walk
hold
up to it and
space
hold
bar, right?
space. Yeah, I think that's all that is.
You hold space, that's what I'm saying. It's ambiguous. Like
Yeah, you hold space.
you jump over an object and then you press the space again and it goes straight up. That's how it worked for me. I don't know.
Yeah, most of the time,
yeah.
the like.
That's what I'm saying. We're sitting here discussing something that shouldn't need a discussion.
Well, for me, most of the time, the parkour stuff, like if I walked and then jumped towards a thing, I could make most of the situations occur because I was doing MS, like mainline stuff. I say MS Cube, that's Final Fantasy nerd in me.
Yeah.
Main story stuff. And I think that's because most of the main story stuff is approachable with like very little amount of upgrades. And so I think the side story stuff, which Ko has probably done the most of out of all three of us, that stuff might be a little bit more gated in terms of how easy you can complete them, depending on what parkour abilities you have unlocked. Ko, is that yes or no, or?
Oh yeah. I've been doing a lot of side stuff, and it's definitely made everything easier. Like where Dying Light 1 was definitely more, especially on nightmare mode, was definitely more about kind of feeling out the gameplay mechanics and just getting good at them. Dying Light 2 is much more of an RPG. So in classic RPG format, in open world RPG format, the more side stuff you do, you gain experience points.
Sure.
To get the better skills and all that stuff. Also, I'm actively farming. I have done multiple times when I have gone. What you do, like what I do is I go to the UV place at the base, the Peacekeeper base, and I run out and I trigger a howler, and then I go back and I just like run around circles and kill and farm. And I mean, you'll come out of that with like 50 of those uncommon things, like that you get off enemies, and then I'll go get like 3 or 4 upgrades. So I mean, my med, I'm not even to the tower yet. I have like level 8. I have level 8 med kits. I've got like one of my freaking weapon power ups is gold. Like I've got all sorts of stuff that are like that's just super upgraded. All my other stuff is like at least levels between 3 and 5.
Before we get too far away from the controls and stuff, the upgrades and whatnot, I have to mention this, and I don't know if they fix it or whatever, but there was a maneuver, a parkour maneuver that I purchased that I did not know was hard coded into a button. I had changed the kick button to F, and because I like E being my use button, my use, interact, all that stuff. So I changed kick to F and use to E, and one of the moves, the drop kick. Whatever, you drop on their heads and you kick them away from above.
Mm-hmm.
I spent at least 15 to 20 minutes trying to get that to work, not realizing that it was hard-coded to E. And it does not change. The button does not change even if you rebind the kick key. And even in the tooltip, the tooltips change if you rebind keys, which is nice of them. But even in the tooltip, it was like, press the F key if you want to do this. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing this, guys. I'm doing this. And then someone's like, try pressing the E key. What was the original keybind? I was like, I think it's E, right? And they're like, yeah, I'm trying, and it worked. And I'm like, oh, so it's fucking hard coded, and that's why I couldn't do it, and that sucked because it's like 20 minutes trying to get this fucking thing to work.
Yeah,
there are.
So like that was a bitch.
Which brings us to the next point. There's definitely bugs in this game. This is. I mean, it's by no means. The big question was, is it going to be a cyberpunk? It's by no means a cyberpunk.
No,
but it is buggy. This is a gigantic game with a lot of mechanics. It has a lot of bugs. It has a lot of bugs. You can't. One of the biggest ones, the one that drives me crazy, is not all items are sellable. It's like, I'm a looter, man. The amount of times that I've had to just like throw items onto the ground because my inventory has gotten full.
Really?
Oh, absolutely, dude.
What could you not sell? Just like some random
most stuff.
I never. But
most
did it fill
stuff
your inventory though?
All the time. My inventory fills up all the time.
Because I only filled up on like weapons and gear. And
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about. All armor and all weapons can randomly just be unsellable. And in those cases, you will just keep getting weapons you can't sell until those fill up.
What can you
have
sell?
To just throw them all on the ground. Weapons all the time. A lot of weapons I can't sell, and all armor pieces.
I never had that issue once. I was able to sell
I've been doing a lot of side stuff. So
I wonder if that's side
filled
stuff.
up a few times.
Is there a particular reason you can't sell them, or is it just decided?
They just don't show up in the vendor. They don't show up in the vendor. Like you will look in your inventory and have 5 sets of gloves, and you will go look on the vendor, and you will be able to sell one pair of gloves that's
you're
not the one you
right.
have equipped.
I do have a couple. You're right. I do have a couple
So
pieces of armor that are like that.
We were actually in the Discord with the Techland devs, and I put a thing up, and I was like, "Hey, I think this is a bug. Just want to make sure, are we supposed to be able to dismantle these into scrap or something? Because I'm just throwing them all away." And everyone was like, "Oh yeah, having the same issue." And the Techland guy was like, "Oh yeah, we're prioritizing major bugs first, but that is absolutely a bug. You're supposed to be able to sell everything." So
Got it.
yeah,
Okay.
hopefully that'll be fixed soon because it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I only ran into like 2 or 3 things that I couldn't sell, but it never was a thing to like. I always had space. Ultimately, is what I'm trying to say.
I have like probably 5 or 6 times had to like just throw piles of weapons on the ground, and it hurts so much when I do that.
Yeah,
Especially because I'm always out of gold. So
yeah. See, I don't. I wonder if things cost more money on hard because you're playing on hard, right? Do you know if things cost more? Is that
I'm
part of the
paying
difficulty
around
curve?
4,000 for really good weapons right now.
That's definitely
So, like,
more than me. I paid.
yeah. Upgrades are expensive too.
I spent $4,000 on a 127 damage weapon, and that was
Well,
only 4 towards the
what I
very
do
end of
though
the
is
game.
I buy a lot of stuff. I don't want to be caught with like I'm notorious for just hoarding gold and then never spending it. So anytime I see a weapon that I can use in one of my 4 slots, I'm like, yoink, no, but buying that. Also, every time I go to a crafting vendor, a craftsman, I
Yeah.
completely buy out their crafting inventory.
Yep.
Everything. And yeah, so I'm frequently out of money. Also, the upgrades when I do like big farming upgrade stuff, like you'll spend 2 to 4 grand just upgrading skills every time you do that as well.
So I do some of that, but then very quickly the game was like, you don't need to do any of this because I got a bow. And I got a bow that had a level 5 like level attached to it while I was doing level 2 quest, main story quest. The bow lasted me until the end of the game.
Really?
And like
I got a level 2 bow once, and I tried it, and I put 4 arrows into a zombie's head, and it was still shuffling towards me, and I said, "You know what? Bows. I do
Dude,
not need to deal
no.
with bows ever."
Bows are incredibly broken. Like game breaking broken. I never used a melee weapon except for the final boss because I ran out of arrows once I got a bow.
And
Really?
and I will say this: I didn't use a bow the entire game,
Really?
except on the final
I used
encounter,
either.
and it didn't even work. So
Yeah. Yes. The final boss does some Neo shit. Like he definitely just will sidestep them. You have to center mass it. But yeah, the bow was 100 damage. Like it had 100 damage on it. And then I found a legendary bow that had 112, and that lasted me through the entirety of the game. But it was like one-shotting zombies on normal. I would guess on hard, that's probably not the case. Because zombies have more HP on hard. That's part of the difficulty bump. Yeah, so maybe that's not a possibility on hard. But on normal, I would walk into a room and it would be like, okay, you got to sneak through this room. Or I'm just going to kill every zombie in one shot with my bow.
my boy, that's my boy. It's like they set you
You're
up. and they're
actually
like,
playing a stealth archer.
Yes.
Here's the
I was
scene.
playing fucking
We're gonna set
Morrowind.
up the scene. We're gonna show you everything, and then we start you in a crouch in a grassy like covering.
Yeah.
I immediately was like, "Fuck this! Throw a grenade!" Yeah.
I never even used the grenades, dude. I would walk into, I mean, I could pull up some of the footage. I would just walk into a room, headshot people, headshot everyone. Oh, here's a renegade boss. Let me just pop 4 arrows into his head. Oh, he's dead. Oh, here's an actual boss. Let me get an exploding arrow and shoot this guy once, and then the guy's gonna bug into fucking the environment, and he's gonna spaz out and drop all of his HP, and you're gonna win the game. Like that.
I gotta say though, I gotta say, the game feels so good with melee. Like it's almost sad to hear that because I gotta admit, like the combat is my favorite part of the game. Like especially farming when you've got like a 2-handed weapon and you're swinging that thing and taking out like 5 zombies a swing and they're all like realistically bouncing off each other and flying and their limbs are spreading. Like, oh man, it is.
It feels great.
It is awesome.
You're not
it feels
wrong.
so good.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
cut a person in half in game.
Oh yeah.
When you cut a person in half in game,
Yeah, let's clarify that. Yeah.
it feels great.
Do you really get questions about that? Do you have to qualify that in game?
Sure, yeah. You know, you don't want to get
You gotta
quoted
get
He's
out
like
of
your
when,
ass,
context.
like,
when
in
you're
case someone
torturing someone in your
thinks
kill
it's
room. I mean, it's
In
wait,
game,
what?
in game, yeah.
In game.
No, my favorite stuff, honestly, was the melee and the your normal forms of combat seemed pretty stock to me. Like the stuff that happened, like the heads flying off, arms flying off, like that was cool. But like as far as like you swinging your stuff, there's not a whole lot of technique to it. The
No.
stuff I loved was, and I'm so glad, honestly, very glad I played it on easy mode because actually we played easy, normal, and hard, like, respectively. I'm so glad I played on easy mode because that gave me more opportunity to be like, I just shove a zombie away, be like, wait right here, hold on. Can I come like?
Oh, you can do that on normal as well, dude. The second
that's what
I
I'm saying,
unlocked
but,
dropkick, I dropkicked
I felt
everyone for an
no
hour.
like threat from dying from any of these like things. So like I had so much fun like doing all of the things that the skill upgrades provided.
Yeah.
The spin to win whirlwind. And the thing is with this game, it's not, you don't get super specialized. If you go through the game, you're going to get most of both sides of the parkour and combat tree.
I'm already more than halfway on both, and I'm apparently not even mid through the game.
Yeah, so I unlocked both sides pretty much in full without doing a single side quest. But if my little timer thing or the little thing went off as like so and so nearby, let me just run over here real quick and get that. So I was like seeking that stuff out. I don't know if that counts as side stuff, but yeah, I got a lot of the upgrades. And I agree with you, Zeke. It was the dropkick stuff was great. It was super fun.
That honestly is one of the things that I will. I mean, I say I will go back, but I don't know. I have so many games. But one thing I wanted to go back and do was all the parkour challenges because those were fucking fun.
Yeah,
dude,
I had a blast doing those, or the one or two that I found throughout my my limited playthrough. But I think those would be, because that's one of the best parts of the game. However, I will say, did they slow down the parkour from this one, the last one of this one? They slow down. Like, did it feel slower? It felt slower to me.
Even when you're upgraded all the way? I gotta say, like, I'm just getting to the point where I'm getting all the upgrades, like the shift abilities and stuff like that, and it feels good. Yeah. I mean, you can very, very easily tell that Aiden is a different character than Crane. In terms of like the jumping ability and like how the distance he can get, the speed he can go on things, like it feels really good at the stage of the game I'm in.
Yeah.
In fact, what was kind of interesting is a viewer specifically said like at one point he was watching me and he's like, it was day 2, so I played a day early. He was like, hey, I was watching this other streamer just started. Why does Ko's game looks like it's in like 2x speed?
It's probably
I was
shift
like,
ability.
That's because I have all this other stuff that you don't have yet. But
yeah,
it was so yeah, it's very interesting. There's a lot different degree of change in 2 than 1. So in 1, you start like you start pretty quick, and you're pretty quick in the whole game in 1. But in 2, you start like slow. Like when you start running in the game at the very beginning, you're pretty slow. It kind of feels like you're walking at times. And then when you get towards the end, it really starts. Towards the end of the stamina tree.
The shift stuff really makes a difference to hold down.
Well, I tried. It didn't make like a huge difference to me. That's something else I mentioned at the end of the game was like, they give you a little boost of speed over a longer period of time. And what I want in a boost is a big boost of speed, but short lived, you know?
Well, here's
I don't
the
know.
big
Like,
thing.
I didn't feel like I was going, a speed of 10, and then you get a speed of 12 for a long time. I want a speed of 15 for a shorter time. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the big thing.
Sure.
The boost is designed not really to make you move quicker. It's designed to make you be able to jump further.
Yeah.
So, like, if you use the boost right before you jump, you'd get a sizable increase. The boost that you use when you're running, when you're running makes you just faster than the zombies on a rank 4 chase. So that's the big thing. So you can actually outrun the like really bad zombies with that speed. It doesn't make you super fast, but it makes you just fast enough so you're not getting your ass beat when you're trying to run from those things.
I wanted a little bit more video game fast than like
You wanted some Sonic.
You know, like I've been training, so I run a little bit faster. I wanted like, you know, I'm the Flash for 2 seconds. You know, like I wanted a little bit of that.
If they're going to put in a freaking glider with vents you can go on, there's no reason they couldn't do something like that.
Well, and here's the glider has a boost where it does turn you into the Flash for a second. So like,
I never got the third upgrade for it. I got the second one,
Was
but
that
I never
the third
got
upgrade?
for the glider.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
I think it's
really cool.
third. Maybe it's either second or third.
I think I have the second, and I think I do.
Is that the one that allows you to? I forgot now what each tier of the upgrade does. To be honest, for the glider. Oh well.
Now I had a question.
That's okay. I don't want to spoil it.
Have you upgraded your speed boost like to the point where it's instead of it's not dart, it's dash or whatever, like the next up from dart?
Yeah, the one where you can hold it on foot.
Yeah. Does it only go like halfway and then it like starts refilling again?
I don't know.
Like my stamina bar, like I hold it down and I'm running, but the stamina bar only goes to halfway, and then my dash stops and it starts refilling again, and I have to wait for it to refill to do it again. Like I thought it would use up my entire stamina bar. I was pissed off about it. I was like, that's why I got it, so I could use up like all this stamina that I have. But
yeah.
Sorry, I'm just pulling up another gameplay video here, but trying to skip around in spoilers. I do want to talk about gear, in the sense of, I don't know why gear exists in this game, apart from like the weapons, I understand, but like armor and stuff. Do you notice a significant improvement? Yeah, I don't know why your bitrate's cut out. Did you notice a significant improvement when it came to like armor and stuff? Because for me, it was just, I'm going to equip whatever has the highest armor, like actual gear armor. The stats and everything are just kind of like, and the fact they tied it to classes was kind of misleading at the very start. Because like, oh, I want to be a medic. I didn't know what that meant. And all medic means was you're just going to heal marginally better. And I think have like heal over time.
I think the premise is you become more like those classes if you put on a full set of those pieces.
I had full sets.
So,
maybe I just didn't notice it because I wasn't looking or something. But it seems so marginal in terms of the actual stat values. And that might also be tied because there's no actual stat page. So like,
yeah,
I can't.
It is weird that they went that exact with everything, and then there's not really any place to see your totals.
Yeah, yeah, because like what I guess someone likened it to. Does Far Cry have a stats page? There was some other open world game that had a stat page credited to it or within it.
Oh, there is. Hit Z in your inventory screen. Hold on, let me pop open.
Really?
And check that. I don't think I've done that before.
I never saw the stats page. Assassin's Creed.
I haven't done that either.
Was. Yeah, Assassin's Creed was because I would like bump my arrow up and it would be like, your arrow does 150% more damage. And then it would hit really hard and I'd be like, oh man, I'm doing 150% more damage. But in this, I would take damage and I wouldn't know if I was like healing or what. I never saw the stat page though. So if you open that up, go let us know.
So, by the way, getting on those vents to like from a standing position, getting on those vents, did you find like you had to press the button a couple times before the glider would open?
You have to jump first.
You have to. No, you can still do it on the ground.
Oh,
it's
really?
just a little finicky.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a little
okay.
finicky.
If I press the glider button, it would do like a little boop, boop, like a couple of times. And like if I wasn't like exactly center on it, I think maybe. And then eventually I press it and go, poof, I'm like, it's just a hilarious little like, uppity.
Yeah.
It's not like a real jump. It's just a up.
I would just walk up and jump.
Right when you hit I for inventory, there's a little thing on the bottom that says Z for stats, and you hit Z, and that shows all of your stats right there.
Interesting. I did not know that. I wish I knew that. I would have maybe.
I'm glad I do now.
Yeah, I might have been able to see the gear stat differences.
So apparently I was doing it wrong the whole time. You have to hold it. So that's probably what I was doing wrong. Never mind.
Oh, like again, I would just jump, press Z, and then it would always work. I never.
Oh, okay.
I never had that.
Then you can hit.
I just went from a standing position
to drop off.
Go like, see,
okay, I'm standing on a vent. Yeah, if you just tap Z, then he just hops.
Yeah.
And then if you hold Z, then it just takes off.
Huh.
So yeah, you just gotta hold Z.
The whole
Just wasn't holding it like split a hair too short
yeah.
for it to actually pop open the thing. Okay.
I
It's
do
good to know. I actually didn't know that.
I do think that this area is far superior to the first area that you go to.
All right, chat, listen. We have entire audiences we have to entertain. We don't have time to read tutorials, on-screen prompts.
Yeah.
You shut up.
Yeah.
Also,
right? You do that, and then you let us know what they say.
Yeah.
That's your
we're
job.
human, right? So like, also we're gamers, so a lot of us have short attention spans. So I see a tutorial, I see a button, like, oh, just press a button.
Wait,
and then I don't read the whole fucking.
You guys are both doing this wrong. Co had 30,000 people watching to play this game 3 days in a row, and no one told him about the stat screen. That's what you should be saying.
Oh, here's the thing. People were probably screaming at it from the top of their lungs. They were probably saying, hit Z to check your stats. Why don't you check your stats? But I'm trying to entertain people. I don't have time to read chat and do what everyone says. So the point is, you need to tell us what to do so we can ignore you. It's just like a classic relationship.
That's probably true. Yeah. It's probably true. Anyways, I was saying the second area that you get to, far superior than the first, and just of the amount of fun. The second that I go back to that first area, I was immediately bummed out because I couldn't I was like, oh, I want to like parkour. I want to like jump from rooftop to rooftop and like have 50 floors below me. And then you go back to the first area and it's like, here's a 2-story house you can climb on. And if you want, you can get out of your glider and kind of like go on the ground like this, but you're going to eventually land. I was very upset about that. I hated the perceived like power downgrade. Even with, I actually went with the survivor upgrade.
Oh, this one's great, I think.
This is a little spoiler, so I'm going to skip.
I'm not looking.
Yeah, I already skipped. Oh, here's a parkour challenge right here. Yeah, I never wanted to go back to that first area once I got to this area. It was just so much more fun. Even like Zeke, you mentioned, since you're done with the game, the stuff you do towards the end of this area is phenomenal. Maybe some of my favorite quests in the game in terms of what you're doing was just a ton of fun when it came to the actual like parkour and the environments that you were in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But then you go back to that beginning area and you're just like, let me jump off this little seesaw here. I'll just jump on the seesaw and go like 10 feet.
Okay. Did you guys get the impression or get the feeling like some of the grabs in the game were kind of imprecise?
Oh, they were super screwy. Yeah.
Okay.
And that gets even crazier as you get more upgrades. Cause you're, like I said, there's some times where if you think about what your character's supposed to be doing when he makes a jump, it literally just looks like you're jumping through the air like this. And your shoulders are just going. It's like, what the fuck is happening? It's really weird. Yeah. So I also got the like parkour shot so you could use the arrow while you're in midair. So I would like jump, pull this out, shoot, and then the guy would start jumping like that. And it just gets weirder as the game continues on. But yeah, I definitely got a lot of that.
I got the you're trying to, God, some of the hardest things are trying to go down like those elevator openings at the top of the elevator.
Yes.
those
it takes
one by one.
Jump through it. I got stuck so many times.
Can I just get there? Like, I'll grab the side and then I'll drop down. No, don't drop to the other one on this side. Drop all the way down. God damn you.
Yeah.
And then you get stuck. And then I got stuck and I was going.
You're just spamming C, hoping really that it goes through eventually. Yeah. Hey, let's talk about the voice acting.
Okay.
It's not great. Apart from like two characters.
It's very hit and miss.
The two characters are great. Everyone else, well, the tone, I felt like some of the, a lot of the game, there's multiple moments that I can think of. I felt like they were recorded at like different days and they forgot what the tone was of the previous statement. Because there's like full 180 tone shifts between two different sentences that are right next to each other. Someone can die and they'll be like, fuck. And then the next line, you want to go get a burger? And it's just like, what the fuck is happening? It really like was jarring when it came to that. And that
No,
was for
seriously,
like,
do you want to get a burger? Like, death makes me hungry.
yeah.
Yeah.
It happened with multiple major cutscenes. It wasn't like side stuff. I think that maybe added to the fun factor, but not in the way that I think was intended for the game. Like it was trying to get me interested in the story and whatnot, and I was just like, this is absurd. So I don't know if that was just a me thing or if you guys experienced that as well throughout y'all's playthrough, or what you thought of the voice acting as a whole.
I think the main character did a great job. Jonas Scott. That was like he's only been doing it for like 2 years.
Yes.
I thought he did a really good job.
I would agree.
Some of the characters were great too. I think Rosario Dawson did a great job with her character. Although some of the dialogue was a little bit weird. I'm noticing that the main story seems good, but like a lot of the side quests are pretty phoned in. There's definitely been a couple where it's just like they're reading stuff off a script, and it's just like they're not even. It's completely not reacting to the situation around them and stuff like that. But the main story arc for me was it's been pretty okay. I really haven't had any complaints with it.
I thought it was strong in the beginning. The further I got in the main story, it started to drop in quality in terms of voice acting. Yeah. And not saying like the performances, but just the different characters that you meet. Like you said, Rosario Dawson and Aiden, the main character and whatever her name was, are very good. But you start meeting like side characters, and it just is very dry, is I guess how I would say it.
Exactly. Here's the thing that I really would have appreciated more. Like the voice acting in and of itself wasn't that bad. It wasn't like it wasn't over the top. It wasn't like cartoony. It wasn't, that kind of stuff. I didn't want that.
Yeah.
But I did want more character, I guess I wanted like more it was people like, oh, so you mean like they use this excuse to cover or to make or cover for video games like oh, it's like real life. So like real life, like
yeah, I got that a lot.
I'm playing video game. If I wanted real life, I'd go outside.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
It's like real life where there's a zombie horde that exists and the planets in like Armageddon occurred, all that type of stuff. Yeah, very real lifey.
But that's the thing. I like the character. They had a character. One of the characters. They had an opportunity to make this character just like more, I guess, flamboyant, because he likes the finer things in life. He he's very all about the best wine and food and jewelry and all that kind of stuff. And they had an opportunity there to make him really super interesting, and they just didn't do it. Like he was okay.
Yeah. Well, for me, there was also multiple moments where they would go in and out of accent. And I guess this happened in Dying Light 1 as well. So it might just be a part of the game. Oh. But like, I'll be fighting someone or sorry, I'll be in a cutscene with someone and they have like a very thick Eastern European accent. We start fighting, immediately they're Kekona. They're just like a Southern gentleman, and it's like,
that's technical though. That's not voice acting. That's technical.
100%.
Like that's them just not wanting to record audio barks, combat barks, for specific characters. I will say I'm surprised at how different some of them are. Yes. Like exactly like you said. Like right at the beginning, one of the brothers that you find, and he's like, all talking with this like distinct Weasley voice, and then you start fighting, and it's like, hey, what you doing? And it's just like.
You gonna do something?
Did he get pissed and Hulk out? Like, what exactly happened here?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's 100% just resources.
Yeah. For me, like, I actually enjoyed that in a weird way. Like, it added to the fun factor of the game for me. But I could definitely see people harking on that if they're like trying to be involved in the game.
Jonas Scott, the main voice actor's in my chat. He's like, I could have explained all this. We should have brought him on.
I don't want to sit there and be like, God, I really hate Jonah. What do you think about that?
He was good. I mean, he could give like that. I think that was
yeah. He was.
I think now that the project's over, I think all of his NDAs are off, so we can.
He probably doesn't want to come in here and listen to three guys shit on the game, or give criticism of the game.
Hey, but criticism's fine where it's due. I mean, still. I mean, it's fine. Yeah. It's fine.
Anyways, what were you gonna say, Zeke?
I was gonna say, like, just because you're you're part of a project doesn't mean like you don't also notice its faults.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
I'm sure there was times when Jonah was playing and going like, "What the fuck? What? I'm doing it. Why is it not working?" You know, I'm sure there was parts that he was doing the same thing. I'd imagine.
Maybe.
And I mean, I'm on drop frames. My co-hosts are jerks. Like,
I know.
I mean, I'd have no problems talking bad about you two. You guys are the worst.
Well,
so I mean, it's fine, right?
Sure. I guess.
No, I make half of my living like just shitting on you guys.
Anyways,
in my own chat though.
Yeah. Thanks for making it awkward, Jonah. You're not even on the show. Jeez.
Anyway. But okay, all in all, like, I had a great time playing the game. I wouldn't have finished it. Here's the thing: I wouldn't have finished it if I wasn't still enjoying it.
Same.
If I didn't enjoy it all the way through, I wouldn't have kept playing it. The core of like the gameplay is awesome and fun. It really is. Once you get a handle on like all get some upgrades, get a handle on the moves, and get a handle on the parkour, paraglider, all that stuff. Once you get kind of like familiar with that shit, it becomes a lot of fun. And if you're forgiving of the dialogue and the story, here and there, like in a lot of places, it's not horrible. It's just not standout, you know?
Yeah. I think for me, having finished it, like the way that I talked about in chat, like gameplay was an 8 out of 10 for me. Story was 6 out of 10. So it's like a perfect 7 for me. In my sense of the scale, like some people would be like, "Oh, it's a bad game." No, I don't think it's a bad game at all.
I talked about that. I talked about like the difference. Like, that's why I use the grades rather than the 1 to 10, because if you graded something an F, that's still a 5. And like most people's like, if it's 1 through 10, it's like 5. Oh, you hated the game? Like 5 is average, right? 5 is right in the middle.
That's why I had to
classify
that.
Yeah, but that's why I say like A, B, C, D. Like I see it was a C plus. I'd say, all things considered.
I personally would probably rate it higher than you two, but probably just more because I loved Dying Light.
You got
like Dying Light 1
first.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I gotta say, like, no, but just then my gameplay experience is totally different from y'all's. I mean, I'm doing a ton of side quests, a ton of exploration. I'm doing farming and stuff. I'm having a great time in the game. I like it's everything I wanted from a Dying Light 1 sequel and more so far. I am looking forward to getting to the end, especially after hearing what people are thinking of it. But that being said, I'm really like, there's been some great side quests. There's been some really good parts of the main quest too that I've really enjoyed, and the gameplay is awesome. Like, I'm loving the gameplay.
Gameplay's king.
It's really really good. So that's been pretty great.
And a little help for anybody who plays this game and wants to do parkour challenges. Like some of these parkour challenges that I kind of wasn't all the way aware of, like you're gonna need some upgrades if you want to get the gold medal. Like you're gonna need like some of the shit. Like I had some, but I didn't have all the things that I needed probably to get a gold. So I kept trying it over and over again. Like, and people were like, "Why don't you just go get some more upgrades?" Like, I shouldn't have to, right? I shouldn't have to get up. Like, yeah.
Some of the challenges are meant for here's what's weird. If you look at some parts of the world map, especially icons at like high up things, they will be red if you don't have the stamina or the required things to get to them. The game will tell you can't do this yet. That should be for challenges. Like it should straight, like if you don't have ability, like there was one what was it? Parkour challenge that I did, and like I got it wrong a few times, and I was finishing like 10 seconds behind, and then I did one like perfectly and was still like 5 hard seconds behind the silver, I think, or something. And I was just like, dude, what is going on? Like, there's no other way I could have done that. I went at max speed. I was hugging corners like a NASCAR. Like I was doing everything I could to beat that challenge. And I just don't have some parkour stuff yet.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming I think it was this one actually. I think it was this parkour challenge. I did like a bunch of times, and I was just like, I guess I do not have what I need for this one to do it properly because I was not able to do it. But yeah, it's wild.
I will also say co-op. None of us experienced it. I know there was a bunch of people that were saying there's issues with it. I think most of that's gotten patched out. Also, the magic number of Steam friends is our friends over at the late shift, not late crew, the late shift. Found out that if you have more than 300 friends on Steam, co-op just breaks. And that's how they solved their issues. Was they removed friends on Steam
by dropping friends.
Yeah, and it worked out. So they're all playing last night as a group.
How did someone even discover that? That seems like such a random thing to find out.
Yeah, I don't know what
it's not the first time I've seen that in a Steam game.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
There was also a PlayStation game that had something to do with friends list, or it just locked up the game if you had too many friends. Something like that. But I've seen, apart from that, people say co-op's like generally okay now after that day one patch. Performance-wise, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but yesterday on like the 0.5 patch, my FPS skyrocketed with ray tracing and everything on the DLSS bump and the patch. Like I was getting like 80 when I was outside staring kind of everything, and indoors it was like 120, 130 with everything cranked up.
Awesome.
And the game looks good. I think it looks very good as you're like sitting on a rooftop and you can see these giant skyscrapers that you can go and explore most floors of that for just random assortment of goods. And speaking to their like 500 hours worth of game, I think that's why, because they have giant skyscrapers where almost every level has some sort of loot in it. And so that probably adds to that time chunk. Last thing I do want to mention, I know we already gave scores, but the choices, did you guys feel like some of the choices were just a choice for like choosing a narrative sake much further down the game, but the actual quest pushed you down the same, like they didn't make an alternate path is what I'm ultimately saying. Like all of the gameplay was
there were some
same.
slow choices. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I definitely think there are some choices that aren't a big deal. There's some that are apparently a huge deal.
Yes, there are.
Like, especially at the beginning, I made a choice where somebody else came in and they were like, how far is Ko? And I was like, oh, the first part. And they were like, he couldn't be. I haven't seen any of this stuff.
Yes.
And so, like that stuff's big. But there are absolutely some choices that don't mean anything. In fact, there was one part that I got to where you have to make like 3 choices in a row. And somebody in chat was like, yeah, you only need to worry about the last. Like the other 2 mean absolutely nothing, even though it gives you like a timer and everything.
Well, the timer, just hit escape. It pauses the timer and you go into a pause screen. The timer just reads nothing.
There you go.
So,
okay.
If you want a little bit more than 20 or 30 seconds to make a decision, just hit escape and it'll pause it. You could think about it. I thought that was also pretty funny. But yeah, there's definitely decisions that do change story stuff. The like end game and the how the game ultimately ends up. There's definitely decisions for that. But as you're going through the story, there's stuff there where it's like, make a decision. It's like, well, did that do anything? I don't necessarily think it did. So there's probably a list of like actual big changes, big choices and big changes. But yeah. Anyways,
I'm ready for Ko to finish it so we can talk about that.
About the end.
I will have it done for sure before next week. Can you keep doing side stuff after the end of the game?
Yeah, it throws you back into the game.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. I was curious about that too. And then
I'll probably start
the credits, and it reverses some choices or some the like final decisions that you've made, so you can actually complete all the stuff. Yeah.
I'm now fully addicted to Sifu, but I'm sure I will also be doing lots of Dying Light too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to keep Lost Ark in the evening stream, so to get at least like 4 hours a day in. So hoping to get it wrapped up before next week.
Zeke, did you have a bunch of times towards the end of the game where you would, let's say, kill the final boss and then it would load you back into a area and then it would start the cutscene after that? Or is that just a me thing?
Say that one more time.
I beat the final boss and then it loaded me back into an area where I could like physically walk around, and then the final cutscene started. Like after that. Not like it was still loading behind the scenes. I'm just wondering if that was a weird break for me or if that happened to everyone.
It might have, but it was I think I might remember what you're talking about, but it was super short.
Okay. Oh, someone in my chat says it did the same thing for Zeke. Maybe just a second faster on his computer.
Yeah, because it sounds familiar. It was like you get control for a second, and then it's like why would they give you control? Like, I think I remember saying that or something.
Yeah. Anyways, I think we all recommend it. It's definitely worth grabbing, especially if you like Dying Light 1. I think it's 100% worth it. It took me 25 hours, maybe 26 hours. Zeke, what was your total playtime on Steam?
Let me see. 30.
Okay.
30.5.
And I think Ko's probably at that same hourage, if not close to it, and he's done mostly side stuff, and he's only halfway through the game. So there's a lot of game there.
There's a lot of game in this game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's even it's very much like Dying Light 1. Which is good because then if you like the gameplay, you're gonna get a lot of gameplay.
Yes.
So that works out nicely.
That's true. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Ko's played the full game of Sifu, which I want to hear about. See how that game
I
is,
am addicted.
Wrapped up. I watched a little bit of footage of another streamer this morning, and I downloaded it before the show, as you both know, because our cam quality was shit because of that. But I'm very much looking forward.
That's what that was.
Yeah, I was downloading.
It's man. Yeah. Get ready. Prepare your butt.
Well, we'll talk about it when we come back after this quick break. So we'll see you guys in about 5 or 6 minutes for more drop frames right after this. See you then.